What should we build?
Whatever you got there.
I think that we could just have my people cut stuff and just hand the pieces to us, and then we have to figure out what it is we're building.
Process of what?
Elimination. But I think that I could probably do it from that. So, anybody have any guesses as to what this is? If you have any guesses as to what this is, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And best comment, like last time, best comment, we will pick a winner. And you can skip to the end of this and figure out what it is we're building, or just watch the whole thing and figure out what it is we're building. And then you can get some pieces yourself and build one, and you can change your dimensions. This thing can be any shape, any dimensions. You can build it square, rectangle, whatever you want to do. But this is the size that we actually use. I have not built one of these in years. I think I haven't built one of these actually since I made the first one. And we did a video around that. And that was probably 7-8 years ago. And there's a lot of different ways you could build this thing. You don't have to do this, but this way is very clean. And this is how we do ours. When you're doing this, make sure you don't get an extra twist in this webbing, or make sure that it is how you want it twisted. And I'm just kind of tacking these because it's a little bit easier right here. When you wrap your bobbin, I usually put 3-4 wraps on it, and I make my tail really long so that I can just stick it through any of these holes here. And then I kind of hold it when I start sewing. And then usually when I do my bobbin, I'll do it, I'll change it at the same time I'm reloading over here. But pull this up. Looks like I cut some thread to a couple of these strands. So we'll do this. Get good at rethreading this sewing machine, and you'll be ahead of most people that sew. A lot of guys that sew have these, brand new, really nice machines, and that wasn't even an option when I started. But good on them. But what you'll find is the dude that sewed with a machine that was less than what he should have been using, or a machine that he has to work on himself and he's not really good at working on it, that dude will most definitely, well, almost always, be a better craftsman. We have to mirror this. We have to do a duplicate of this panel for the other side. So give you an opportunity to get a different camera angle or something if you want it. Not that you need it. I mean, everything we do is first take. Now here you can zigzag this or box exit or just run it straight, however you want to do it. Just for speed of this video, I'm just going to sew right across here and tack it 3 times, which would be more than enough for this product, but you can box exit or do whatever fancy stuff you want to do with it. Or if you had a tacker, you know, a programmable tacker or something, that's where you would put your tacks on. Let's go ahead and this here, you could edge tape these if you wanted to. I specifically just ran them over like this because I wanted to tuck the webbing underneath and have it fold back and tack back like that. You could edge tape it. You could also fold it once and then fold it over. You could do whatever you want. The material we're using is really good. It's not going to fray. So I haven't, on this particular product, I've not bothered concealing the raw edge. And like this here, I could sew back up here and tack it, but this is all going to get put into a seam anyways, so not necessary. So this will just become a front pocket on here. So I can totally eyeball this, but I think I'm going to just measure it so they're the same on both sides. We'll go inch and a half. And then you can measure and find half on this, or however you want to do it. Once you've done a ton of these things, you can eyeball them, get them pretty damn close. And if it's your own stuff, you probably won't care anymore. And I'm just flipping it over and pulling it at the same time here, so it's kind of like a third hand pulling on there. When you start sewing, at least on my machines, I don't know, maybe there's some new machines that you don't have to worry about it, but when you start sewing, I've got these two long tails here, one from the bobbin, one from the top. I always pull them back here, and I always hold them when I start sewing, because if you don't, it will pull it back in there and it'll become a rat's nest. It'll be something that will take you a considerable amount of time to clean up later, and almost no time to prevent now. So same deal here. What you saw me do on the other side now with these handles. I've got two handles here. I have a short handle and a longer handle, and you'll see why in a minute, but you could totally hold this sucker right here and just catch it in this first pass. Ooh, did I go outside on that or inside on that? Yeah, I've got it on the right place. So I'm just making my fold here and then putting tension on it, and that holds it tight and crisp. Actually, I don't even need to tack that, because when I bring it up, I'll tack it. I'm just trying to hold this out of the way where you can see it. Again, make sure you don't have any extra twists in your handles. that you don't want there. Through and tack these. Now here you've got this little lip that's not, you know, there's about a 1/16 of an inch, 32nd there. Don't pull on that because you'll really see it. Just put enough tension to where it stays flat. See what I'm talking about? You could take these two, because I didn't box them, I just tacked them on the top and the bottom. So this is actually a slot. You could actually put a key ring through there, or a small snap link carabiner, or whatever you want. Use it as a key holder, sunglass holder, whatever. And you could take these things and put them Velcro lined and make them as intricate and modular as you want. But it really just comes down to price point. If you're building it for yourself, you know, run wild. If you're building it for market, where do you want your price point to be? What's your audience that you're targeting? This could be a $55 bag, or it could be a $200 bag. Now, if I was doing a bunch of these, I would just run them all in a line and separate them. And there's running in a line, that's what that looks. Or you can just bring it back around and do it right there. Now we're going to catch these edges in a seam, but I typically, when I come off of one piece of work onto the next, I typically back tack it for at least a stitch or two. It just keeps that thread, when I cut it, it keeps a couple of these stitches from pulling back through, because I'm kind of pulling on it when I sew it, so it's under a little bit of tension, and it keeps it from popping back. So I need, what do I need? I need another piece of Velcro here. And we said we went 1.5 inches down. What do you think? Does your calibrated eye say that that's 1.5 inches? What do you think? Yep, we're just a tiny tad bit off. Little tadpole there. All right, there we go.
Eyes are like laser.
Super calibrated, right? I have mil dots in my vision. I had them removed. In the deepest, darkest prisons, I paid a guy a pack of cigarettes and had him polish my eyes so that I can see in the dark and have thermal vision built in. That's where Vin Diesel got the idea for pitch black. People have this idea that he's big. He's actually like fucking 4'8". He's a midget.
Can we use that word anymore?
Midget? Yeah, I used to bang his sister. She was not a midget.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Midget, short people. We had a midget tossing event at one of our parties once. I want to do a Velcro wall so we can throw midgets, cannon midgets. Here, imagine your surprise when you invite your daughter's boyfriend's family to Christmas and they show up and the whole other side of the family is a midgets. Like, it's, I don't know where the full-size dude came from, but it's a little secret. James Yeager, one of his daughters was dating this dude, and when the family showed up, mom was a midget. Yeah, we can say midget because they say midget wrestling review. There's a whole, what do they call a troop? A whole midget troop, a whole flock, a whole murder of midgets over in Paris all the time. So we can totally get them for an event. Pride, a pride. If they were lions, if they were midget lions, they'd be a pride. It's allowed versus able, my friend. Will we be banned? Will they remove my cartoon from the internets? Perhaps. Ooh, yeah, I'm, okay, I'll show you a couple ways to do this here. We're gonna do it 2 different ways. Now, especially if this is your first time doing one of these, you might want to mark center and center so you see if you have any stretch, but I'm going to not do that. We're going to wait till the very end to see if I have this messed up. Ooh, I do. I highly have it messed up. I have it a lot messed up. I have it 3/4 of an inch off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this back apart, and when I sew it, I'm going to stretch it as I'm going to pull it a little bit as I'm sewing it, and it's going to fall into place properly, and you will never know that I was off somewhere. And where I'm probably off is this hem up top is probably just a tiny bit long on both sides, on the sides. So that's where it's, no, I have it, the hems here are probably too big. You'll figure it out. Because if it's not too big, it's too small, unless it's right, just perfect, right? If it's not one of those, it's probably the other one. When you're cutting this, you want to cut the thread. If you've been sewing anything, I'm sure that all of you have sewn something and got it all the way together and realized there's some huge issue in there. And the truth is, it's almost always faster to just cut a new one and start over, but we never want to do that, so we always cut it apart. So really sharp razor blades, which this is not, and then cut the thread, not the material. You will also get to where you're really good, and this will work most of the time until the time it doesn't, and then you slice the shit out of the material. But I find if I hold this, usually under the presser foot really helps because I can pull it and apply tension. But just so we can show you on the camera, if we can get in there, and I'm stretching this so that it's not stuttering at all, it'll just cut between the threads and you won't slice that material. Now, all of us have probably made something where we have sliced the shit out of the material, and then you go and you put a patch of material in there and you zigzag all over that thing, like embroider it. A lot of times when something like that happens on our production floor, in tool bags or something like that, wherever we have that cut, we'll just kind of sew a star, you know, an X and then another X over it, put it back together, and then we will just put Velcro over it to conceal the mistake on both sides. So some of our bags, ooh, I just sliced my finger on that needle. Sometimes some of our bags, you'll get a bag and it has extra Velcro in it. That's because we have covered up a mistake. Now, when I cut myself, I usually don't, I'm not so worried about the wound. It's the blood that gets out on the product. So usually if you're sewing and you've got if you're bleeding, Band-Aid keeps the blood off the product. Once you get the blood on the product, it takes a lot to get it off. So that's usually the concern. So flat blade will usually scrape all of that thread out of there for the most part. Okay, so like I was telling you, find the center. which that totally looks like that was not the center. It was not. It was way off of center. So how am I going to know which one's which? Because it's blue. Maybe the bigger one. Let's go this side because we know there's only one on this side. Okay. The handles are really catching it. Still off. See how they match now? It's because I was pulling on this top piece. And it stretched it right into place. I always want to cut these long threads out of the way. It just keeps it from getting in your neck stitches. I'm going to pop this over here. Okay, now I've sewn it inside out, which is actually not how we built this product, but I'm showing you a couple different ways to really achieve the same thing. So you could take this now and you could edge tape it and then flip it inside out, and you just have a taped seam inside. I'm sure everybody has seen that. Or you can achieve the way we actually do it. Is also not this way, but it's going to come out the same. So I'm going to take these, push that seam all the way flat. I don't want any dead space in there, so I'm going to reach under here, get that seam, pull that sucker out so that both edges are flat and there's no dead space in there. I want that seam real taut. Taut, same thing as tight, I guess. A little different application, but I remember Mom and Grandma saying You ever meet you call your grandma?
Yeah.
You ever meet somebody that calls their grandma something else? It's weird, right?
Rachel called hers Nana.
Nana, yeah, I've heard Nana.
Nana, and my grandma always went by Dorothy. She wanted everybody to call her name Dorothy, but I just called her Grandma.
So Amanda, her daughter just had a baby, so Amanda is now a grandma. The lady at the post office is like, "You don't look like a grandma. Let's just call you Gypsy." I don't know where the fuck Gypsy came from for grandma, but
she likes healing rocks and stuff. That's Gypsy-esque.
I'm like, Gilf? Start your OnlyFans page. Gilf feet pictures. Whenever I stop or I need to adjust, I always want that needle down. If that needle's struck down, just pins that work in place. It's like putting a pin through it. Or it's really like having a third hand on it or a clamp. See how clean that is? Pretty clean. So here's the other way to achieve the same thing, which is probably easier. Well, it is easier. So just take this sucker and hem, and get to where you can hem small, right? If you can hem small, your work will be really clean. Hem that little tiny, and you just pull on it, and now you just push it here and it puts it down there. Just do it clean and get to where you can do this consistently, like a 1/4 inch hem. Just like this. If you get to where you can do this and you do it so many times you can just do it, your work will be so much easier and cleaner in the future if you develop just a few little habits like this. Just get to where you can fold that sucker under. You'll get to it once you work with this stuff for a long time, and you get employees and stuff. You'll walk past something and be like, oh, that's an 1/8 inch off, that's a 1/4 inch off. You'll just know because you've just seen it so many times. You'll be like, oh, that Velcro looks like it's not quite level, right? And you'll measure it, and it'll be, you know, a 30/2 of an inch with off, you know. Okay, so we hemmed that side. Now I'm just going to take this. I should have put this one on first, because this is more layers here. Right here is 2 layers, but right here is an extra layer. So I'm just going to take this and do the same thing. I'm just going to do that little 1/4 inch hem all the way around. Start and stop, tack it right there. Travel down. Where you get to the thick part, just be aware where that is, because sometimes on mine it'll catch the feed dogs and just kind of stutter there. So right here I'm at 2 layers, but when I fold it that's 4, and when I fold it again that's 8 right there in that corner. So just be aware when you catch that corner, tack it. See how it's stuttering? It's just sitting there sewing. Lift it up. Let it go so it catches. And most of that's because I need my feed dogs adjusted. And I'll work with the problem. I'm aware of it. Amount of thread. So I always use my scissors. There's that lever on that bobbin case. I already know where it's at. I just flip it out with that. Pull it out there, boom, boom. Cut the thread, pull this over, wrap this, pull this through here. I like my thread. This is a scarf, right? I think that's what that's called on the bobbin, right? That piece there. I like my thread to point towards that same direction. So there, putting this back in the machine, I'm pushing this over here. And now I'm just winding that thread, 1, 2, 3, 4, wrap it around, push this through a hole. A lot of these bobbins have a slot where you can put your thread. I think that's what it's for, because it's only in that place, but it'll work in any of those holes. That is what she said. And if she doesn't say that, you got the wrong bitch. Have you seen any of my, you guys might not be aware, have you seen any of my relationship advice videos? Oh yeah, we have a whole, Amanda and I have a whole, another little podcast. It's just people ask questions and we answer questions on relationship advice. Usually it's, you married the wrong bitch. How do I get my wife to whatever? How do I get my wife to let me? I'm like, therein lies your problem. All right, so there's that tacked. We've got that other piece tacked over. Tacked, I guess hem is the proper word.
I like tack better for tactical stuff.
Tactical tacking. Oh, sucker is not wanting to sit there. Let's throw some more thread in there. Pull that tail out. There's both those tails. Okay. We got our part. I see some little threads. Burn those off clean. Man, I know that mark is off. I know that is not the mark that I need to use. Let's just measure from here. It looks like 12, so probably 13. Let's go right in the middle. So yeah, we'll see it's right there. Shit, which one is it?
The long one, right?
The long one? I don't remember. We're going with the long one. All right, so we'll start here in the center. Tack that sucker in there.
hopefully, right?
Yeah, it'll work. So I'm a little short on the back piece, so I'm just gonna pull on it. And now all of a sudden it's not too short. Ooh, sounds like I went off there. I actually did not go off. That's just where it was coming off the pocket. That front pocket. We'll do the same dealio right here. So I take these videos and I put them in some private groups that I'm in, sewing machine groups and sewing groups. So if you're seeing this and you're not aware, we actually have membership. It's like $1 to join the membership on our YouTube channel. I have a membership there, and we do over 10 hours of private content every week. We do a podcast called Pulling the Thread. It's actually a vlog. Jeff and I do. Jeff used to work here. He was a Marine Corps Scout Sniper. He's done a bunch of stuff. So we just kind of talk current events and just what's going on in our lives, and people ask questions and stuff. Then Amanda and I, my wife and I, have a members only Q&A, and that's like business. We talk a lot on that side where we won't say things on the public facing side. Just a tighter audience, and that's mostly like business relationship stuff, or even a lot of homesteading stuff there too for some reason. But you'll see that on the membership. And then every night at 9 o'clock, I do a live feed where I walk around on the sew floor. And we look at product that was built that day. And some people come on, like at the first 5 minutes, there'll be a bigger audience. They're looking to see what we built that day that's available for sale. And they don't give a shit about what we're talking about. But we usually run from 9 to 10, 10:30 if the conversation's good. And we discuss whatever you want. And you can jump on there and talk to me and see my factory and what we're building, and we can discuss literally anything you guys want to talk about. So that's usually at 9 o'clock every night on this YouTube channel actually. So I'm coming up very short here, and I'm already moved, so I'm just going to take this little screwdriver here and I'm going to push just a little bit of the work down. And if you really look for this, you might see where that kind of puckers up. No, I'm way off. I don't have nearly enough here. Okay, so you see how I'm too long right here by about a little less than ½ an inch. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to open this run back up. Watch this, you'll cut your thumb with it, but it does pull the threads out nicely. And then on this side, you'll get a hold of that stitch and pull that all out. Now let's tack this in. You can see where it stutters, where that fold over is. So here, I'm just going to really pull. And there we go. So what this is our Cali compliant grocery bag. When California started banning grocery bags, everybody was up in arms over it. I believe Hawaii did it years before. And it's just got a flat pocket on the front to put whatever. This will actually hold several ammo cans. It'll hold 2 ammo cans of several different sizes, and you can build yours to hold whatever you want. These work great. I really like this bag because when you have a lot of weight in it, you can choke up with the short handles. But these longer handles are long enough to go up on your shoulder if you're actually using them as a grocery bag, beach bag, whatever. You can make your handles as robust as you want. You can use tubular webbing. You could take tubular and actually put a piece of plastic or wood dowel in there and make some nice, you know, type grip to it. You can get as fancy as you want with these things, but this is the one that we sell, and we sell a lot of them. We also do a normal grocery bag, which is a faster build, and it costs, you know, a little bit less, but these really come out good when you put colors and stuff on them, and the short handle I really do like on there. And then at this point, I'm going to run around it one more time and just put another stitch line in it. But I built it 2 different ways so that you could see there's not really a right or wrong way. There's just your way, and you can, you know, try different things and you'll see which one you like. And a lot of times dudes will tell you, especially in the sewing group pages, I'll see guys post stuff and guys are like, well, you didn't show the build, you didn't tell us what machine, blah 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 blah. Well, it's funny because when I click on those dudes picture profiles on those groups, it shows every post you made, and lo and behold, you didn't make any fucking posts. All this shit you're telling these dudes they should do, you haven't fucking done any of it yourself. It's weird how that works. So if you want to build some shit, just build some stuff, man. Just literally just build some stuff. And this would be more forgiving if you put gray thread in it, obviously, since we're against ATAC's Ghost here. Gray would be less bold. It does not want to go past that right there. There we go. That's that 8 layers of material. And while you're learning to sew, I think most people nowadays will have a servo motor, which is an electric motor and literally has a rheostat on there. You can turn it faster or slower. Just turn your shit down, because when you're going through bulk and you're moving and you're running fast and you're really confident, inevitably you'll hit something and it'll deflect that needle. You'll get it stuck in your face or your eyeball. Really, when you're learning to sew and you're gonna run long runs of stuff and move fast, you really probably should run safety glasses. Just get some Oakleum frames or whatever you like to use, just cheap safety glasses even. They can fix your eyeballs nowadays, but whether it just comes down to whether you can afford to have your eyeballs fixed, so wear glasses. And there it is. So best comment on this, I'll send you this if you want to leave a comment and you want me to, if you want to have this bag, I'll pick the most creative or most interactive, or I don't know how we'll pick it, but we'll pick somebody and we'll send this to you. Same with the hydro carrier for last week. That video is actually not published yet. By the time you see this, you will have seen that one. And I'll send you that hydro carrier from last week to somebody also. So that's the little game we'll play on here, I guess.
Can you give them a little signature on the inside?
Yeah, I just do that so that it doesn't get out. Somebody will see this sitting someplace, we'll have an order for one and they'll grab it, so. Do you have a signature? Like when you sign bank documents and shit?
Yeah.
Is your signature always different? Mine is different all the time.
A little bit.
So I never sign my name.
My B is really big and then it's squiggly lines, and that's pretty much it.
Like I've not written a check in 12 years probably.
I can't write unless it's in cursive either.
See, I can't write. When I write, it's cursive and handwriting, printing and handwriting.
I don't connect some of them. It's
Yeah.
like cursive, but it is not sometimes connected.
Yeah. All right, so if you like this, that'll be the 7th one, huh? The 7th build video. If you guys like them, leave some comments. I always like this. It takes a lot of time to do this stuff. We have good camera guys and edit guys and stuff come in to do this. We actually put a lot of money into this, so I always question whether we should continue to do them because we don't make any money doing them for sure. So if this interests you, share it out, man. Send it to some friends and help us grow the audience. And we do all kinds of content on this channel, so participate. And one thing that happens here, which you don't see other places, I guess we'll talk on this. You see a lot of companies touting made in America, right? But you know what you don't see? You don't see sewing machines and US citizens sewing stuff. I do live feeds through the day and just walk around, and you can see employees in this building here building stuff. The other thing you see a lot of times with gear companies and stuff, bigger companies, the guys running those companies don't have a fucking clue how to sew. They don't build any of the shit themselves. And we do. So you can actually talk to somebody who has ran a company for 30 some years now, and has watched the industry change and evolve and a lot of stuff go away. Like the sewing industry really is a dying industry in the United States. So you have access on my live feeds. You can talk to me and we can discuss almost anything. There's dudes that get on and talk sewing. There's guys that talk chickens. There's guys that talk, you know, business and management of employees and stuff like that. So jump on and we can talk. And I do that every night at 9 o'clock on the YouTube channel. And then if you don't know, Special Operations Equipment is the name of my company. The website is soetacticalgear.com. And I'm also on, where am I? Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Locals, Float, MeWe. We're all over the place. And we're about to have our 5th Self-Reliance Festival. And a lot of that is just business development and networking. It's homestead based, Self-Reliance Festival, how to grow your own food, how to produce your own food. What do you do if the government shuts off your bank account or your power, or just things to be aware of, right? Things are always changing. So that's what a lot of that is. And you can get tickets to that, and you can actually come here. We'll have between 700 and 1,000 people here March. Is it March already?
Yeah.
Yeah, March 25th and 26th. It's in like 3 weeks. And you can get those tickets at selfreliancefestival.com. And we also do a live video podcast, Nicole Sauce and myself. Her channel's Living Free in Tennessee. We do a live with a guest every Tuesday. Sometimes that's Jack Spirko Survival Podcast, Bear Independent, all kinds of different people. And that's at 12:30 on this channel every Tuesday. So we do a live there, and you can jump in and type in and interact and ask questions there as well. So I think that is more than you're going to write down. So that was our 2-minute build. And there you go.